let's clean this up and talk about something else. So, I had a birthday recently. Uh, for the sake of not getting doxxed, I won't say when I had my birthday, but I had my birthday recently. It was nice, very, kind of low key, but that's fine. I'm down with that, uh, especially given the state of the world and all of that jazz. But today, we went out and did a little shopping, just with a bit of fun money. I had a little money given to me that I could mess around with and just have some fun with. So I bought some stuff. We went to two hobby stores, so you could say that we went hobby hunting. You can hear me rummaging through some stuff right now. So yeah, I ended up buying some stuff. Not a terrible lot of stuff, not like a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And I'm thinking I might make a bigger purchase later when we get to another hobby store, because and this is a little side tangent story, but today we were thinking about going to a hobby store called Trinity Hobbies or something like that. Let's put this skull here so you guys have something to look at. Here, let's put this guy here. Yeah, I was planning on. We had been planning on visiting Trinity Hobbies or something along that line. It's in Ottawa. Today, I'm pretty sure PG Kami over in Bacon's chat, and also he ended up following me. Shoutouts to PG Kami. But PG Kami had linked to this website and was showing you some stuff in a weird bit of happenstance, circumstance. Night Trap was also looking through that website, completely independent of what was going on in Bacon's chat. He was looking at this website at the same time, and he was like, "Oh, hey, look, they sell some pretty cool Gunpla, some cool models and stuff here." And I was like, "Oh, nice." And he's looking through it some more, and come to find out that they sell Warhammer stuff too. Trinity Hobby, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they sell Warhammer stuff too. So we're like, perfect. We can get a couple of things for both sides of the coin. Both aspects of the crafting and building hobby. So let's go. Part of my birthday celebration, so to speak. So we went out today, and womp womp, they're closed. Night Trap was smart enough to actually check first on the phone. We were already out, but he checked, and it was like, oh my god, they're closed on Mondays. So, we had kind of had to do a little course correction, and we ended up at this place here, Kobold's Corner. Comics, cards, and games. There's anything on the back? There you go. Quick little shout out to Kobold's Corner. And they sell a decent amount of stuff, as it says here. Comics, cards, and games. They do sell Warhammer stuff, although they said that they hadn't ordered too much Warhammer stuff lately due to... I forgot what reasoning it was. It was something along the lines of like a production... Something was halting their production, so they haven't been able to make much stuff, or something along those lines. But they did have some Warhammer stuff, and it sounds like they do intend to get more later. I ended up not buying any Warhammer stuff here, but they did have a lot of paint and brushes. They had a decent amount of comics, a good amount of board games, cool board games that have miniatures too. A lot of Star Wars Legion, which is kind of like 40K but Star Wars, and RPG stuff like the rule books, bestiaries, guides for Dungeons and Dragons and other related RPGs, as well as sort of like the Dungeons and Dragons or RPG adjacent stuff like miniatures and dice and cards and other non-D&D RPGs like Pathfinder and stuff. So yeah, pretty nice store, and I someday I'll probably visit them again. So what did I buy there? What did I buy at Kobold's Corner? Let's look at the chat real quick. Actually, let's not. You guys are talking about... Oh, hold on a second. Trinity Hobby has something I want. They have the Death Stranding Reverse Trike model kit. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Actually, I remember you guys looking at that. Well, here. Here, hold on a second. Let me take off the something here. Can I take this off? There we go. Boom. This is what I got over at Kobold's Corner. So this is a miniature from Magic the Gathering. It's produced by Wizkids, actually. Wizkids, I'm sure Bacon remembers. They make Hero Clicks and those other related games to Hero Clicks. And yeah, so they make miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons. But this is for Magic the Gathering, and Magic the Gathering does have a rule book for play in for use in the Dungeons and Dragons rule set. So I'm assuming this is a card of some kind. Borborygmos. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this properly, but this really caught my eye. It's just a big honkin' miniature, and I really enjoyed painting the Lord of the Rings trolls. And this is even bigger than the trolls, so that's kind of why I wanted to buy this. It was like, and the price was really good. I took off the sticker, but it was about like $20 or something. And compared to Games Workshop stuff, like $21 gets you a figure like, this big sometimes with Games Workshop. So yeah, I figured like the value of this thing is pretty good, and it's nice and big, and it looks fun. And it's from Magic the Gathering, which I thought was interesting because, if we're talking about like a big giant creature in Dungeons and Dragons, it's gonna look a little more plain, a little more, I don't know, a little less interesting. I can open up the packaging and we can take a look actually. So, yeah, here's a colored version. Here's a colored sort of suggestion to paint this, but I don't think I'm going to be following this paint scheme at all. It doesn't really inspire me. I will probably look at the card and then we'll kind of base it on that. Goro, that looks sick. Magic has dope artwork. I should get an art book of theirs. Yeah, actually, there's. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of art books, but actually, I have a recommendation for you. There's a YouTube channel called Rhystic Studies. That's RHYSTIC Studies. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Rhystic Studies. And this guy goes through the artwork from Magic the Gathering and really goes in depth about the history of the artwork, how it connects to other cards and that history, as well as the art style of the illustrator and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I definitely recommend that channel. Very good channel, Rhystic Studies. So let's tell you what, let's set this aside. We'll just go over what I got, and then we'll take a deep dive into this big Borborygmos guy a little later. So the next store that we hit up, and again, we weren't able to get to the store that we wanted because they were closed, so maybe we'll get to there another day. But we went to the place where I got this guy. We went to Hobby Center, and I picked up some small things because I knew that I didn't want to get a big Gundam or anything at the time, just because in the near future we'll probably head out to that place and see what they have, Trinity. So for now, I just decided to get some small interesting things. So this is the first thing I'll show. Figure Effect from Bandai. Figure Rise Effect. Figure Rise Standard. Compatible with Figure Rise Standard. A new effect stand for Figure Rise Standard. Rock Effect. Large and small parts, 8 types, that resemble rocks blasted into the air by shockwave can recreate intense action. Guys, can recreate intense action. How cool is that? Look at that. See the rocks flying around? Blast Wave Effect. Resembles fast-moving and slashing effects. The highly realistic effect parts 4 types increase the possibility for displays. 2 exclamation marks. Goro, found it. The one with the owl, maybe? I don't know, like, the logo of the website. Bacon, using it with the security mech? No. This, for the image that I have in mind for my diorama with the security mech, I don't think that this stuff would be good to use. I got this mostly because it was fairly inexpensive, and I thought it'd be pretty fun if and when I do get other models to have cool effects. I was watching a review from blah, 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 blah. One of the Zaku Aurelius, and he was showing off some effects and how it works with his model kits and stuff, and it just looked really fun to mess around with. So yeah, we got some blast effects, got some arms. The stand you have to get separately, and I think I might have a stand somewhere, but yeah. Plastic model kit, blast wave arm white, clear arm parts that can freely adjust the position and height of the effect parts, as well as attached to action bases, are included. They also make it in yellow, which I think might be pretty good too, but I'm thinking I might try and paint some of these, especially the rocks. But yeah, this looks pretty fun to mess around with. I just got it because it seemed kind of interesting. Goro, so basically this is the essence of blast processing in sculptural form? Yeah. Well, when you put it that way. It's pretty exciting stuff. So yeah, that's one thing I got. Again, I didn't really want to get anything too big at that store, just because, as I said, I'm kind of planning on going to that other place and seeing what they have. And then maybe we'll get something there. But here's the other thing I got. Kotobukiya model support goods. Close combat weapons. And this I might actually end up using for my security mech here. It's a little hard to tell. But yeah, so if you look here, there's this gun and a bunch of different add-ons and attachments, as well as 2 separate blades. And Goro actually recommended that I get a chainsaw for this guy. And looky here, it's the chainsaw. I might not actually end up using this chainsaw, but I thought that was kind of funny. This knife, however, might be useful. It might kind of be too big and out of scale. It might be too big and cartoonish. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see when I finally assemble everything. It might be a little too big, but at the very least, it's just something to mess around with for this model. And yeah, so it looks like Goro. I remember the chainsaw. Yeah. So this gun portion here, you can add on various parts, like the handle or a arm stock or something like that, or you can actually attach this chainsaw or a knife to the end. They kind of show it here. It seems it can be attached in different ways, and you can always cut it apart and chop it up how you like as well. But yeah, again, this was only like $6 or something, $6.50 for, you know, some interesting parts to mess around with. There's a lot of different stuff like this, by the way, from Bandai themselves or from Kotobukiya. Just a bunch of, well, they call this MSG. No MSG? Yes, MSG. Modeling support goods. A lot of different things that you can get, including different guns and weapons. I saw this one that had like a ball and chain kind of weapon, which I don't think would be suitable for the model that I have here. But yeah, I got this again. I thought it might be interesting to mess around with. So yeah, that's what I have so far from my little shopping spree, I guess you can say. So that was pretty fun. Bacon. Oh shit, chainsaw gun. Gears of War now. Yeah. So hey, let's open this guy up and take our first kind of look at this model. So I'm trying to think if I've ever bought a model from Wizkids before, an unpainted miniature from their D&D or Pathfinder or now Magic the Gathering range. I'm trying to think if I haven't. I don't think so. I don't think I have. So this is going to be a first for me painting this miniature. I'm pretty sure that the plastic quality of these miniatures is very different from Warhammer stuff, from Games Workshop stuff, where it's a little more softer or rubbery or something like that. So I'm expecting a different kind of painting experience. I'm just wondering how different, or is it going to be like difficult to work with? Who can say? Who knows? Here's a little plastic base, which is good. Yeah, I actually really like the art in Magic the Gathering as well. Even the old art, even the old models, the old cards from the 90s. I like those, and now that we're in the modern day, the art has gotten very sophisticated. Yeah, a lot of great stuff that they're putting out there, and I do play Magic kind of super casually. I know how to play it. I have a couple of decks that I've made myself, and a couple of decks that I've just bought pre-constructed. So, wow, this guy's huge. Let's okay, hold on. I think we should probably put this back so we can get a nice look at everything. Let's line this up. Okay, let's just lie him down so you guys can get a good look. Like, I mean, what's a good way to show scale here? Okay, here we go. Here's a Necron from Warhammer. So that's kind of the scale that we're dealing with here. A very large miniature. Wow. Let's here's my ruler. Let's take a quick little measurement of this guy. If I measure from the base to the top, to the very tip of the horn, this miniature is just about 5 inches tall, but if you factor in his axe here, it's exceeding in excess of 6 inches. Maybe 6.5 inches or so tall. So this is a big boy. Pretty nice, pretty cool, just by the sheer size of it. And again, that's kind of what attracted me to the model. I was like, I kind of want to paint something big. I've been painting a lot of human-sized miniatures as of late, so let's get something chunky. Let's get a chunky boy. And I really like painting the Lord of the Rings trolls that I had painted last year. That was really fun, and those guys were maybe 2/3 of this guy's size. So this is much bigger than that. And again, I feel like with all the flesh here, it'll be pretty fun to get into all those details and really make the details come out. Night Trap, that's a big model, great deal when compared to GW. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I have no idea how much a model of this equivalent size would be for Games Workshop. Now, that being said, Games Workshop models are very high quality, very detailed models. You can see here that, where's my pointing implement? You can see here, actually, you know what, give me a second, guys. I have a better pointing tool. Let's get out this one. This will be my pointing tool from now on. So, yeah, as I was saying, Games Workshop models are very, very detailed. And you can see that there's some parts of this model, such as the loincloth here. The details are, I don't want to say it's not detailed, but it feels a little mushy, maybe, is the best way to put it. And I get the feeling that if this was a Games Workshop model, a lot of this stuff would be more crisply defined. Yet when you look at the skin, there's this kind of mottled texture to the skin, and it really kind of becomes wrinkly at the knees. All of that is quite nice, actually. And another thing to note is that this model is pre-primed. So you can actually go straight ahead and start painting this model. I'm going to do some research as far as how good the priming job actually is on this model, and see what people say. It might be the case where I might have to prime it again. And again, this loincloth, not super detailed. It's okay. It's a loincloth, so if I really wanted to, I could go in there with green stuff and kind of sculpt more fur and more texture, but we'll see about that. I'm not really sure if I'd like to go that far. Now, looking here at the oh, Night Trap looks about Demon Prince size. Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I might look into the lore of this character and see what kind of creature it is and the story behind it. I'm kind of interested in finding that out, but um, yeah, he does look about Demon Prince size, Greater Demon maybe. Um, yeah, so there's some mold lines here along the thumb, and if you just sort of follow that track along the thumb, you can kind of see if there's more mold lines that I need to be taking care of. And again, there's some here, down along the underside of the arm and even the side of the torso. There's the faintest line of a seam line, and again we can try and address that. I can actually see that there's parts of the model where it looks like the primer is kind of like scratched off, and we can look at the bare plastic coming through. So man, a part of me is interested in seeing what this looks like bare plastic, and seeing if we're getting any clogged up details. Like here again, maybe maybe it's a lot more crisply defined, but it's been clogged up with the primer because the primer hasn't been applied with a light touch. And again, I'm just trying to take a look here on the feet. Some seam lines, again, that's not too big of a deal. It's a little awkward in the sense that the model has already been primed, so you're going to have to be cutting away from the primer back to the original plastic. That's something that you would have to do prior to priming the model, but yeah, I'm going to do some research as far as what people do with these models, uh, and see what they do. But I mean, if I was to paint this straight off the bat, like, um, I think it would still look pretty fine. I think it'd still look pretty good. I just want to know if there's a lot more detail to be seen if the primer is removed. I'm just curious about that. Big stone axe. That's very cool. That'll be pretty fun to paint, I think. And if we look here on his surrounding armband, it's probably hard to tell, but there's skulls and rib cages kind of bound in between in between the ropes of his wrist. He's got some plate mail, and yeah, there's a lot of fine details and kind of like mottled textures on the skin to a very subtle degree. Actually, it's very subtle, so that's very interesting to me. That's kind of cool. And he's kind of like a cyclops, I guess. He only has one eye. He's got horns. That's cool. This looks to be the skull of some mammoth-like creature. So, again, just trying to communicate the scale of this model. This is a knight. This is a necron. This is a human uh, chaos cultist. And the scale of these models for Wizkids and their RPGs, it's a much smaller scale than Warhammer. So a human scaled model for D&D is probably like right here, like just about here, like this tall, and far thinner and dainty, I guess. Like again, this is something I've talked about before, but Warhammer models are made to what's known as heroic scale, where the faces and the hands and everything, the proportions are very exaggerated. Whereas the miniatures that that Wizkids make for D&D. I don't know if they'd necessarily call it historic scale, but it's a far more realistically proportioned model and much smaller. So even this scale, from the height of this guy to this guy, imagine it being far smaller. Humans are much smaller than this, according to the scale of these Wizkids models. And actually, we do see, as I said, we do see some human skulls here. It's very hard to see. Let's see. Probably a little hard to show, but yeah, there's a human skull there, and it's tiny. It's like about the size of like his pinky. The skull is about the size of his nail on his pinky. So that's how big a human would be then. PG Kami, I've been here for like 5 minutes. I've just been hypnotizing by you talking. Oh, thanks. What's up, PG Kami? How's it going? So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get into this. This is a pretty cool model, and again, I don't recall, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I've never painted a Citadel. Sorry, a Wizkids model. Pretty sure I've never painted a Wizkids unpainted D&D or now Magic the Gathering model. I've never painted one of them before, so I'm pretty excited to dig into this. This could be pretty fun, I think. Now, let's do a little experiment here and try and cut into this plastic, and just to see how it feels to cut into this plastic. Is it gonna be is it gonna feel mushy and crappy or what? So let's do a little experiment. First, before we get into that, let me get some tea here. Actually, I'll probably take a little break after I do this. Let's change up the music real quick. All right. Okay, let's see. I like the pointer sword. Just woke up from a nap. All right, cool. Anyone do anything particularly interesting for Valentine's Day? I honestly pretty much forgot that it was Valentine's Day. All right, let's see. This... Okay, I'm just looking for some flash lines, but I think I found some. Yeah, my understanding is that the plastic used for these models is a little more rubbery than the styrene, the polystyrene that's used for Citadel miniatures. So let's see. And also, we can kind of cut away at this and see how thickly the primer has been applied. Because again, these models are pre-primed. That's an attractive feature for people who are, you know, more casual about miniatures. Maybe they just want to paint the miniatures to play D&D. Maybe they want to quickly paint them up for their next gathering, for their next D&D session. So they're not too concerned about necessarily the quality of their paint jobs or anything like that. Not to the extent that like a dedicated hobbyist would be. So I could see why that'd be appealing, pre-primered miniatures. But yeah, I'm just wondering how good this primer coating is. How good how thickly has it been applied? And it does seem like it's been applied quite thickly. But we'll see. We'll experiment some more. Okay, let's see. Megan, nope. Feels bad, man. I only dreamt of happier times. Well, I'm glad you guys are here, at least. We can be lonely boys together. just a holiday created by Hallmark anyways. Made to sell cards and chocolate. Who benefits? Key Benny. Key Benny. Big chocolate. It's all about big chocolate. We're not giving in to big chocolate. We're gonna come in, we're gonna swoop in tomorrow and buy some discount chocolate, and we'll be the true winners of Valentine's Day. We'll eat our chocolate alone, on sale. We'll cry, silent but manly and masculine tears as we watch TV or Bacon stream or me stream. Hold on. Let me do a little adjustment here. There you go. Yeah, honestly, I pretty much forgot that it was Valentine's Day. But I mean, hey, if you're someone that is celebrating Valentine's Day with a loved one, good for you. Here's a little bitter clap from me, a little petty bitter clap. There you go. Wizard clap. Here's a wizard clap. There you go. There's a tiny little wizard clap for you. If you're one of the normies that celebrate Valentine's Day. Okay. Yeah, I'm just taking a quick look and just seeing what this plastic is like, what this primer is like, as I'm cleaning up the model just a little bit. I don't want to do a major cleanup job right now. I just wanted to kind of inspect it and see. Actually, after I bought this model, I was thinking to myself, it's all assembled. Like, this model is complete. It's fully assembled aside from this axe, and there goes the stream, right? Like, usually I like to do one stream of putting together my models, but this guy's already put together, so what the heck am I gonna do now? But yeah, all right. Bacon, I have my waifus. That's enough. Petty clap, Goro. A little petty clap. Dude, Bacon's got a bunch of waifus. He's got the pick of the litter. You turn on his phone, he's got a horse waifu. He looks at his shelf in his room, he's got 20 different waifus. He turns on a video game console, he's got his waifus there. He's not lonely. Okay. What's the deal with this? Oh, the knife? Okay, thanks. Yeah, so the last thing I'll talk about this model, though, is that it does come with a base, and he has this kind of rocky outcropping that he's on. Bacon, even your mouse is a waifu, your mouse pad. So I'm thinking that we can do something with the base and kind of really get some elevation and kind of mount it on like another rock, some more rocks, and really get something going on here, like make him like this big, maybe standing off of this base. That might be cool, rather than just like this. We can kind of get a little higher elevation and find some more bones and skulls to put on top. That might be cool. But yeah. So yeah, this is what the heck is this guy's name? Here, help me out here. Borborygmos. Borborygmos? Well, whatever he is, I'm gonna call him Jimmy One Eye. So that's Jimmy One Eye. Jimmy One Eye, Jimmy Two Horns. Let's set him aside, and we'll get back to Borborygmos.